Hi everyone, Stepan here. Today I'm going to play two training games and I will try to record both, but I'm not sure if I will manage because it's really hot in Zagreb at the moment and my laptop seems to be overheating when I record. So we will see. Anyway, the first one is in the Twitter chess tournament, which I'm currently playing, organized by Say Chess, who has a great new YouTube channel. You can definitely check him out. He has a playlist called Road to FM, and he has organized a tournament for chess players who are on Twitter. And even though I don't really understand Twitter and don't know how to use it, he asked me, which is really nice of him, so I got to participate. Anyway, this is round 5. So far, I've played 4 games, scored 3 out of 4, and now I'm going to play round 5 against Stacia Melinda. And we're going to play a game in 30 plus a 5-second increment, and I have the white pieces. Okay, I didn't really have time to prepare, to be honest, because I have a lot of things going on, and I'm preparing for Gradište Open, for the tournament which starts in 8 days. But I hope the game goes well. And then in the afternoon, later on, I have a game against a Patron, and we're going to play a training game, a game in 45. So, okay. Okay, here I have the white pieces. I hope you can see my my rating, not my rating, my time. Perhaps I should put this in the middle. Is this better? Okay, I'll leave it like this. I hope it's okay. Okay, so I have the white pieces. Let me just say hi and good luck. Okay. E4. I don't know what she plays, to be honest. And her rating is 1356. But yeah, this is nice that that he organized the tournament. It's great to be able to play classical games. Well, not really tournament games because they're too short this time format. Even though we could arrange to play a game in 90, but I think nobody played one so far. It's too long to be played online. But it's still a great idea. I got to meet a lot of nice people, and well, it's great to become a part of some chess community online, which I've never been. Okay, the Petrov. Let's see. Yeah, I don't want to play anything strange. Really don't. I'm just going to play the main lines. And now I think I'm going to go for knight c3. I like it. I think it's the most aggressive setup. This attack with knight c3. And castling queenside as quickly as possible. The only problem I have is with bishop e6. Targeting my a2 pawn, which can't really be taken, but if he takes it and gives up the bishop for the pawn, then he gets to, gets to open up the h-file. So the point is, if bishop e6 and in the meantime my king castles long, then bishop takes a2 and I can play the move b3. Okay, so no bishop e6 for now, which is nice. So I might... I'm going to play an uncommon move. I'm going to play bishop c4, which is really rare, but I like the idea. I've been thinking about it for a while lately, and I basically want to stop bishop e6. If she plays knight c6, knight a5, I don't really care. I'm just going to recapture with my c-pawn. Or I can then play bishop d3. And my bishop, I feel, is great on this diagonal. I can always, if I want, transfer it to d3. But I want to have as much attacking pressure as possible on her position. And this is probably the only aggressive way to play against the Petrov, which is why I chose it. I don't like the symmetrical Petrov center in which nothing is going on. Yeah, maybe she wanted to play bishop e6 next. The most common move for white here was bishop e3 and then queen d2. Okay, this I'm fine with. If knight b6, then I'm going to retreat. Then if a5, then I'm just going to play a3. So now I'm going to continue with my normal plan. Bishop e3, queen d2, and castles long. I'm not sure what she's thinking about. I don't really think knight d7 was the correct way to play. I think knight c6 was more precise. Oh, this seems strange. So where's this knight going? And do I want to give up my bishop pair? I don't think so. I'm looking at queen d5, double attacking f7 and the knight on c5, but she can then just play knight e6. So I think I'm just going to play queen e2, which seems more sensible than queen d2 in this position. She's probably going to play bishop e6 or knight e6. If bishop e6... if bishop e6, I'm not going to do anything. So yeah, I think I'm just going to develop my queen. And if bishop e6, I'm going to castle queenside, and that's it. I don't really want to... I want to keep developing my pieces. I think knight d7, knight c5 is a waste of tempo, especially if knight e6 now. It's going to be 3 moves with the knight, and if I can castle in the meantime, I should be better. Queen d5 didn't work because of knight e6. Still, it's more equal than I wanted it to be. I wanted to have a more aggressive position if possible. I don't know, perhaps castling kingside and ruining her pawn structure is also a good plan. But I don't really want to... Well, I would like to have the d4 square for my knight, and if I ever take on c5, then d takes c5. I never have d4 for my knight. On the other hand, I have e5 for my knight, targeting f7, which I don't think is useful. Castle's queenside threatens bishop c5, but then knight e6. The problem with my bishop on c4 is that it can be used as a tempo gain. I'm looking at some tricks with bishop f7, but I don't see anything working. I have knight g5 now. This is one of the reasons why I played queen e2, because now is c6. Now I knight g5, she can castle. That's true. Because now if knight g5, bishop takes g5, then I have bishop takes c5 check. And then once her bishop returns, then I can castle queenside. Is that a good trade? I don't think so. Maybe there's a tactic here. So bishop takes c5. Pawn takes c5. And then bishop takes f7. King takes f7. Knight g5 check cannot be captured by the bishop because it's... No, it's not pinned. It's not pinned, the king is on f7, idiot. But knight g5 immediately, bishop takes g5, bishop takes c5 check, bishop back to e7, castles queenside. No, it doesn't work. Her position seems extremely loose, and it seems like I should do something now. Okay, so now she's preparing to play b5, I would guess. I think I'm just going to play it flexibly. I'm just going to play rook d1, and if b5, I'm going to take the knight. I don't really want to castle queenside. b5, b4 seems very quick. And I don't think my king is in any danger at the moment. Perhaps I had something tactical here, I'm not sure. Maybe bishop g5, but then f3, f6. If knight g5, then bishop takes g5, bishop takes c5. If knight g5, if she castles, what do I do then? I think knight g5 just castles and she has to be fine. I don't know. She has to play knight e6. If knight e6, well, I don't think d5 is a threat for her, because if she plays, let's say, knight e6, I castle, she plays d5, I play bishop b3, I always have c4. Okay, queen c7, I don't think that's as good as knight e6. Okay, I think I do want to play bishop g5 now. I just want to stop her from castling. But then what about d5? But then if I play b4, then she's going to play knight e6. Maybe knight g5 does work. Knight g5, and then still, if d5, I can play bishop c5. If b5, I can take on f7. If castles, I can play queen f3. So knight g5, castles, queen f3. d5, yeah, that doesn't really work. Maybe I should just castle. Knight g5, castles, queen f3, and then what? I think I'm just going to castle. I don't want to really do anything irrational at the moment. I think that knight g5 looks strong, but it really isn't. I want to finish my development, use the fact that I have better pieces at the moment. I don't know, it seems pretty equal. I'm not happy with what I've done out of the opening. I'm really not happy. I think that now white is probably just 0.3 or 0.2 better, but nothing really worth considering as an advantage. I'm not sure if b5, should I take on c5, where do I retreat my bishop? I can't really retreat my bishop. I don't think taking on f7 works. Maybe it does work. Yeah, okay, that's probably the best move. Now, I think I should play b4. If b4, knight a4, I can always defend c3 somehow. If b4, knight e6, because I want my bishop on d3 now. I don't really like it on c4 anymore. So I think I'm going to play b4. I need to play something aggressive. If knight a4, I'm just going to play queen d2. Because I want to get my queen away from the e file anyway. I want my rook on e1 and the queen away from the e file now. And the knight on e6 seems pretty restrained. If it gets to e6, doesn't really have that many good squares. Knight a4 seems like a bad idea because of bishop b3, and then she would have to play b5, or bishop d3 where the knight doesn't really have any squares to return to. Maybe knight d7 is the best move. I think I would play knight d7 if I were her. And now my next plan is bishop g5, exchange the bishops, play knight g5, play queen h5 and checkmate. Very simple plan. I want to use the fact that her... Okay, this I haven't really considered, to be honest, but... So d5 is coming. So I'm actually looking at bishop b6. I'm looking at where the knight is supposed to go. If because I'm so I have bishop d5 or bishop b6. If bishop d5, then the knight needs to go to f6. If bishop b6, then queen takes b6, queen takes e4. Exchanging the pieces, I'm not sure if I like that. What else? I also have bishop d2, but then he can just take. Yeah, okay. I think bishop d5 should be the best move. So bishop d5, knight f6, bishop f6, bishop f6. No. So any discovery by the bishop attacks the knight. The knight has a tempo on the queen with knight takes c3. So if bishop b6 attacking his queen, takes c3, takes the queen, we check, but bishop takes and I'm a piece up. So after bishop b6, he cannot take on c3. He should take my bishop and I'm going to take his knight, but then he has d5 winning my bishop. So that doesn't work. That means that I need to play bishop d5 or bishop d2. If bishop d2, knight takes d2. If bishop d5, then knight f6 is the only move. Or d5. Yeah, I think I'm going to play bishop d5. After bishop d5, knight f6 seems like the only option. I don't really want to take that. I want to continue with bishop d3, follow up with my plan. And the thing is that c5 doesn't work. If c5, bc5, dc5, then I have bishop e5 attacking the queen and still attacking the knight. Well, I'm not sure about this move, because now I get to play bishop d3, which I wanted to play anyway, and now she doesn't have c5, and now I also have bishop e5 as an option, which I really like, gaining a tempo on the queen, and now my bishops are perfect. I now think that my pieces are much better than hers, so my next move is going to be knight anywhere and queen h5, provoking some weaknesses, probably g6. And then I'm going to try to checkmate. If f5, then I have a perfect outpost on e5. So I'm going to play knight e5 and f4. Maybe she should just play knight f6 now, trying to defend h7. Maybe I have bishop h7 in some positions. I'm trying to calculate bishop h7, check king h7, knight g5, bishop g5, queen h5. Then the king gets to go back to g8, and bishop g7 isn't even check. Okay, bishop f5, bishop f5. Okay, so I'm looking at bishop e5 and some tricks with my rook on the d file. So bishop e5, I'm assuming bishop d6 as a defense, and then I take, and then if queen takes, I have bishop takes, pawn takes, and queen takes. And then if knight takes, then I don't have anything, so it's basically a risk. Okay, bishop e5, bishop d6. Bishop takes, if queen takes, then bishop takes knight, pawn takes bishop, and queen takes pawn, bishop takes pawn, rook takes queen. But if bishop e5, bishop d6, bishop takes, knight takes, still defending the bishop, then I don't have anything. Yeah. Let's calculate it once again. Bishop e5, bishop d6. What if I take the knight first? Yeah, but then he can take my bishop. So that doesn't really work. But I still like the bishop, the position after knight takes, and then I exchange the bishops. Her knight gets to f5. Knight on f5 and has no targets. And I can play rook e1. So I sort of like the idea. I don't want to allow bishop f6. I don't like bishop f6 as an option. So I'm going to play bishop e5 because it seems like a very active move. I don't want to allow her to consolidate her position. I would much rather have activity with one or two of my pieces than have an equal position. So I'm not blundering anything for the moment. c3 is still defended by the bishop, and if bishop e5 and I take with my bishop, she doesn't have time for knight takes c3 because I take the queen. She takes my queen, we check, but I have a bishop to recapture, so I would be a piece up for a pawn. If she moves the queen, then I sort of won my little battle. In the opening, queen to e7 would be losing because I can just take the knight. So bishop takes, if queen e7, bishop e4, queen e4, or pawn e4, queen e4, bishop takes, and then rook takes queen. So bishop d6 should be the best move. If queen b6, well, if queen b6, I don't know. Yeah, okay, this is what I was counting on. I'm just going to recapture. So no time for knight c3, as I said. She has to recapture with the knight. If she recaptures with the queen, she is losing, and this way at least I misplace the knight. So if she takes with the knight, I think I'm actually going to leave this be and just play rook e1 or knight d4. Knight d4 seems like a good move. Rook e1 also seems nice. So knight takes d6. I don't want to take on f5. I want to play rook e1, no, but then I'm forced to trade rooks. Maybe I can then play queen e5 just to force a trade of bishops to undouble my pawns. But then the position is completely symmetrical. I think this is equal. I don't think I got anything out of the opening. Okay, knight takes is correct. So now I was looking at queen e5 just to force bishop takes bishop or bishop g6. I'm not sure that's a good move. Because then I'm obviously threatening to take the bishop, so... She can still play rook e8, which I don't like. Maybe knight d4. Knight d4 seems like a good move. Knight d4 to give my queen a square if rook e8, entering the queen side. Gaining a tempo on the bishop, so bishop takes d3, pawn takes d3 and doubling my structure, guarding the c4 square. I don't know, it's still equal. I'm going to play knight d4 and try to go up on time a bit, because I really think the position is going to be symmetrical and boring. I'm going to fight for a win as much as I can, but I don't think I have any advantage at the moment. And I want my pawn to come to d3. I want her not to be able to enter e4 and c4 with her knights. Once again, I think that queen to e5 in this position would have been met by rook e8, in which case I don't have time for knight f5. I need to play queen f4, and after queen f4 the threat is still the same. But then I think bishop d3 or bishop g6 should be enough. I'm just going to get a glass of water, 1 second. Sorry about that. It's about 32 degrees Celsius here, so it's really hot. Okay, this move I expected. Although I expected rook f to e8, and now knight d4 was supposed to create a square on f3 for my queen, so I'm going to use that square now. Now I really am expecting bishop takes d3. I don't think bishop e4 works, or knight e4. Knight e4 loses the bishop, bishop e4. Well, I can just play queen g3. Yeah, okay. And now, how do you get an advantage in this position? I really don't know. I can try h4, h5, I can try a4, a5, gaining space on the queen side. On the other hand, she is quick to double her rooks on the e file, so I should be challenging the e file. So I think rook f to e1 has to be played, just not to allow her to double her stuff. She can still play rook e7, which I think is the best move, because if I take, she's going to take with the queen, and I don't have a rook d to e1 because it's undefended. I definitely played a really bad and passive game. Black has a better pawn structure. Our pieces are now equal. She has a great square on e4, great square on c5. I'm not happy at all. Yeah. Yeah. I have to take this. Probably. Could play bishop f1, but I really don't want to play bishop f1. I'm just going to take. I think this knight is really irritating. It's definitely better than my bishop. I'm not happy. Far from happy. Ugh. Horrible position. Okay, queen e3 makes sense, pinning the bishop, so we will see what she does. Because for the moment the rook is hanging. And I wanted to keep my queen somewhere close to e1. I want to have two defenders on e1, because if any exchanges happen, I want to have this square defended. And I also want to play the move f3. I didn't want to play queen g3 to exchange the queens. Queen g4 seemed to be running into f5, where I don't have any tricks with knight takes because of bishop takes. I wouldn't have to. I couldn't be able to take the rook on d8 and then undefend, because she could take on f5 first. So I was looking at queen g4, f5, and then if knight takes f5, she can just take rook takes f5, and they don't have an attack on the d8 rook, so it doesn't work. So queen g4 didn't work. I was looking at queen h5, but I didn't really like that either. Queen h3. Anyway, I have a plan of f3, and now it's with tempo. If f5, still f3 should be losing the bishop, because then I f5, f3, let's say bishop, yeah, it just loses the bishop. Bishop c2, queen takes rook, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, and then I can play rook d to e1 and threaten to win the queen or win the bishop on c2, if I'm not mistaken. So I think f5 is losing. Okay, so she defended. So now queen g3 to take over the file makes sense. Maybe queen d2 is better, I'm not sure. Queen d2 or queen g3. Maybe queen d2, it keeps the defense of my e1 rook. I definitely hate the Petrov. You try to play something aggressive against it and the game still turns out boring. How can anybody play that opening? Play normal aggressive chess and not this stuff. I don't like the Petrov, I really don't, and I need to work on my repertoire against it. This game I chose this strange bishop c4 idea, which I didn't really investigate all that much. It was just an idea I had and I was working on making it work, but I didn't analyze enough, and obviously it didn't work this game. So now I think this is a mistake, because now I can gain a tempo on the queen and take over the file. f3, bishop moves, rook takes rook, queen takes rook, rook e1 should be better for white. Oh. Now I'm going to take over the file, and now I should have a slight edge, even though I have a messed up pawn structure. I mean, I have a great knight, which in some cases is going to be better than her bishop. So I don't mind an endgame in which I have a knight versus bishop. I think the knight could be superior. And especially because the bishop doesn't have that much scope, especially on g6 at the moment. Doesn't have any good squares for as long as the knight is on d4, and for the moment c5 doesn't look like it's about to happen. Maybe b6, c5 is an option, but not that likely yet. So now I'm just going to play queen e2. I have to play it to stop rook e8. I need to keep control of the open file. Now I think the only good plan for black should be b6, c5. Which I cannot do anything about, so I need to think of ways to read out my knight in the game, and I think that's going to be knight b3 to c5. If I can manage that, then it should be great. I can also just continue with queen e7, because now I am controlling the position. So queen e7, I guess if she takes, then she's either going to have to play rook a8 or just give up a pawn, which would be better for me. I no longer have bank rank checkmate problems because of f3, and she still does. Yeah, this is probably the best move, to be honest, but now I still have this move queen e7, which is irritating. And after queen e7, I still took over the file. So queen e7, if she takes, I take. If she plays rook e8, I just take the queen. She takes the rook, I play king f2. So I think that's probably the only move to stay in the game with an advantage. Yeah, queen e7. I don't want to think about it too much. I either want to force her queen away or just get a trade in which I'm going to win some material. Now is the time to try and go for an initiative, even though most of the pieces have been exchanged. I now have one single advantage, and that's the fact that I'm controlling the only open file. If I give that up, I'm afraid it's really going to be a draw. Still, I think that my minor piece is better. It doesn't matter if I lose the c2 pawn, because it's a double pawn anyway, and if I manage to get all of my pawns on the dark squares, leaving her no targets, then it should be better for me. I really don't think what the best move for her is at the moment. Taking the queen, rook takes, rook e8 would lose b7. And then she doesn't have time to win a2 because I can then take on a7. So I can trade the queens off with queen e6. I can put pressure on a7 with queen c5 and then try to get in with rook e7. I don't really like any of these. I don't know, what's the endgame like? Bishop versus knight. I don't know. Queen c5, she's going to play rook e8, then I have to play rook f2. I'm sorry, king f2 to defend my rook. Rook takes c1, king takes c1. Well, I guess she defends a7 by playing b6. No, b6 loses a pawn, but let's say a6. And I still don't have anything. At least my king is on f2 and I don't have any issues. I really don't want to trade the queens. Okay, queen c5, rook e8, king f2, rook takes rook, king takes rook, queen e8, check, king f2, and king f2, and I should be fine. I don't think she has that much. Sorry, let me just turn off the sound on my phone. Sorry about that. So now if rook e7, she's going to play rook e8. And then I'm going to play king f2. I also have knight e6 in some positions. I think rook e7 is the most active move. I don't really want to start playing passively now. If rook e8 or rook f7, I'm going to play knight a6. This pawn doesn't really matter. Okay, so rook e8, knight e6. I'm expecting bishop f7, defending g7. And after bishop f7, I don't think I have anything. Yeah, rook e8. I want to play knight a6. And then if bishop f7, knight e6, bishop f7. Knight e6, bishop f7, I have to move my knight. But I can play knight f4. Knight e6. Knight e6, bishop f7. If she doesn't play bishop f7, then she should be much worse. Knight e6, bishop f7, knight f4. I don't have anything with knight f4. I mean, I can play knight c7, so knight e6, bishop f7, knight c7, attacking the rook, rook takes e7, queen takes e7, and then my knight is stuck, so that doesn't really work. For the moment, the queen doesn't have any squares, which is great. Her queen. So I think it might be wise to just stop the pawns from advancing. Just play a4, a5, fix the pawn structure, fix the weakness on b7. I don't think I'm hanging anything. I don't think she can do much apart from exchanging the rooks. If she ever tries to attack the rook, then I think rook takes b7, rook e1 check, king f2, defense, threatens mate here, threatens mate here, could be dangerous. Could be dangerous, I'm not sure. Do I have something better? Do I have something I should be doing? I like the move g4. Trying to give my knight an outpost on f5. Maybe just king f2. King f2 is a good move, just stopping any check by the rook. So now if queen d8, then I can just take on b7, and that's it. And if she plays queen here, then I'm going to exchange, of course. She can never play that. Yeah, I'm also attacking the square with my rook. So I think this is good prophylaxis, just keeping the pressure in the position. Sorry about the sounds, I'm in the center of Zagreb and there's a lot of tourists now, so... She's getting really low on time. And I don't think this position is complicated to play, she should just play quickly. Yeah, just take. That seems like a very weak move, trying to play c5, but now after I play queen d6, then c5 can be met by queen takes d5. And I think this should be just winning a pawn, unless she wants to play bishop e8, which is extremely passive. Yeah. So okay, queen d5, bishop f7. But I can then play... Ooh, that's actually more annoying than I thought. Okay, so I have to move out my knight first. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to play a calm move. Just continue with knight b3. And then I'm going to take on d5 if I get the chance. Okay, now it should be better. I can win the b6 pawn. I can take on c5 with the pawn. The problem is that she can then take with the bishop first. Take on b3. So b takes c5, bishop takes b3. And then a takes b3, b takes c5. Yeah, but then I can take on a5. So I'm just going to take on b6. I don't really think there's a problem with this move. She doesn't have a single check, she doesn't have anything. And if she takes on b5, I'm just going to recapture with the queen. Now I should be just a pawn up. Okay, now for the endgame. I should be getting my king close enough to the queen side. I really don't think that the sole queen can do much to me. And I want to win the a5 pawn and obviously just win the game. That should be it from the checks. And what? Now with king h7 I have queen e4. Yeah. And this should now be game over. This is an easily convertible ending. This pass pawn is just too strong. I can always keep the 3-on-3 here, and should be just over. She can try g5. Yeah, now this should be game over. Yeah, but still, I'm really unhappy with how the game went. I think I really messed up, and I didn't deserve to win this game, to be honest. It definitely should have been a draw, at least for her. And I really think I shouldn't have won. She played a great game, and I messed up. I didn't really have an attack. I didn't have anything in the game, and just yeah, she says, any advice for me? I don't have any advice. I think you played a great game, and I think you deserved at least a draw. I think you were better at one point, and my only advice is that you should stop playing the Petrov defense. I'm just going to say watch the video for the advice. Okay, sorry. Yeah, thank you for watching. I'm sorry about the low quality of this game. I really think I didn't deserve a win, and she was in time trouble in the end, so she blundered the b6 pawn, and yeah, I think it should have been a draw. That's basically it. But one thing I can take away from this game is that I need to improve my repertoire against the Petrov. This was just bad, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I should have played the main lines with bishop e3, queen d2. I was afraid of bishop e6, which I really know how to beat, and I complicated matters, and I shouldn't have done that. Okay, thanks very much. I have a new training game up in half an hour, so I'm going to be recording another video. And yeah, stay tuned for more chess. Thanks. Bye-bye.